Women's T20 World Cup starts on Friday. I think Birmingham's the first match. Let's do a quick preview of what we think is going to happen there. I'll tell you, Group A, there's two groups, and people have sort of made a bit of how these groups have been set up. Group A is Australia, Bangladesh, India, Netherlands are on debut in this tournament. Pakistan and South Africa. So you've got India, South Africa, and Australia. Arguably three strong, very strong sides. Australia are actually favourites. They're 6-4 on to win the T20 World Cup. India are second favourites at 7-2, and South Africa are fourth favourites at 10-1. They're all in one group. And obviously England is in the next group along with New Zealand, Ireland, Scotland, Sri Lanka, and the West Indies, and England are 4-1 to win that. New Zealand at 16-1. So if you take the top five as far as the bookies are concerned, three are in one group and two are in the other. Winners of one play the runners up in the other one, vice versa in the semis. What do you think? I mean, Australia, it's the first time since 2017 that Australia come into a world tournament without having to defend anything. I mean, they're always the great tournament side, aren't they, the Aussies? Can you see past them winning it?
Yeah, I think so because Alyssa Healy's recently retired, and she won't
Yeah.
be there. And I don't underestimate the glue that she was in that side with the keeping, but also the start to innings that she quite often
Yeah.
gave them. So I think she's going to be a big loss. Don't get me wrong, Australia are hugely strong, and still will be a force. But I just think that not having Alyssa in that side could be quite an impact for them. They'll bring in someone else, no doubt, but I think that could be a big difference to them. So yeah, it's interesting that they're the favourites, but you have got, as you said, you've got the main countries, and outside of them, there won't be any sort of dangers. But it's who's close, because also the recent retirements that you've had from from the New Zealand squad. So there's a few doubts over each of the squads coming through, and that's why I probably quite like England, because they're slightly more settled. They've been playing a lot of cricket coming into it, and they're starting to gel. And so I know we had the argument before about them being taken out of playing professional Tier 1 cricket, but is it paying? I think it's paying off for them leading into this World Cup, because it's I don't like it, but I think they're trending, as they say, in the right direction.
Trend brand of cricket. That's another great phrase that I don't like either. There's some good players around. Georgia Vold, the Australian, she's averaging 39, nearly 40 in the last 12 matches that she's played. Her strike rate's nearly 160. Smithy Mandana, obviously, from India, superstar of the last 50 over World Cup. India could, the confidence and the momentum they've gained from winning that obviously will be something that they'll bring into this tournament. Ismail, the 37-year-old quick from South Africa, retired, hasn't played international cricket for 3 years, but they brought her back to spearhead their bowling attack. And the one I like is a 17-year-old from Sri Lanka called Shashini Gimhani, who's bowls up Paul Adams. You remember him? Did you play against Paul Adams, or was he? He must have been your sort of type of time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he probably got me out. Yeah, they used to call him the frog in the blender, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The weirdest bowling act you'll ever see. Well, this young girl bowls like him, but the difference is she's ambidextrous. So wrist spin with both hands, which would do you have to inform the umpire if you change hands? Because there wasn't there a
Yeah.
KP thing where he switched hands and went left-handed, right-handing when he was batting, do you remember? But you got to tell the umpire of it. You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah, KP, he calls all his socials and his YouTube the switch hit, doesn't he? And he
Yeah.
introduced, he played, but you don't have to tell them you're doing that. When, with batting wise, if you do it, it alters the wide lines. But yeah, bowling wise, you must inform if you're changing arms, if you're coming around the wicket. So So that side of it, yes, that's a skill, the ampi left and right hand, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
to do that. So,
Lindsay
but I think the
Smith's the
one
one.
thing with this,
Go on. Hmm.
I was going to say, the one thing with this World Cup, which being in England, it's going to each of the squads is going to need a very rounded squad, because you could argue you could go, if it was being played in India, it probably brings in other countries where you can play more heavily spin, so you're playing 3 or 4 spinners. But the one thing with it being in England, it will test the squad depth across fast bowling, spinners, and batting. So so I think that's something also to consider.
Talking of spinners, Lindsay Smith's the one for me that I think is going to do a great job for England. Bowls at the top of the order with a slow left arm. Sophie Eccleston also. Sometimes England play a third spinner. Oh, Charlie Dean, she plays in that side as well. Do you think that what? Yeah. Do you think that spinners play a larger part in the women's game because of the lack of quicks in the game, or do you think it's just a natural part of the women's game that there are more spinners?
Yeah, definitely a bit of that. And I do think, yeah, spin does play a huge part in it. They create wickets because one, there's the lack of pace on the ball. I know Sophie Eccleston bowls a bit quicker than everyone else, but by taking the pace off the ball means that a batter is having to force it a bit, and especially in the women's grade, there's a lot of sweeping. And so if you watch the women's games, there's a lot of dismissals bowled and LBW with playing across the line. So that's where spinners come into it. So if they're very much an attacking option, but not attacking with spinning it past the bat, more so that bit of cramping up, creating pressure with dots. And so that's when you see the batters going, oh, I've played out a few dots here. I've got to try and go for a boundary. And generally that boundary is as a cross bat shot. So that's the sort of dynamics of women spinners. At the top level. The Kent ladies that I'm involved with, it's a little bit slower, and so there's that element. But in the higher level and the professional, there is it, but they're looking to sort of attack the stumps and get dismissals that way, in English conditions.
Who else has caught your eye in recent times that's playing in this World Cup?
I like the way that, I'm going to stick with England. I like the way Alice Capsey is playing recently. She was uh, on the periphery for a few years. She's worked really hard. She's got an opportunity with Nat Sciver-Brunt not being involved in these, and she's really grasped it. And she was a sensation when she burst onto the scene, sort of as a young sort of 18-year-old 4 or 5 years ago. And she showed what I like about it is she's power. She can hit sixes, and she's understanding her game. She's not just this power hitter. She's learning how to rotate it. And so in the middle there, where you want to batter, if you're in a bit of trouble early, she can come in and steady the ship. But then what you're looking for is for her to come in and accelerate, which she's done in the England games recently. Give a bit of impetus and finish matches off. So I like the way that she's played over the last few weeks, been given the opportunity, and she's on form. And so England, for me, they had some headaches with picking their team. But I think Alice Capsey, the way she's played, has sort of reduced that headache, and she's now in a position to go into the World Cup. I think she can fly, and I think she can win some matches for England.
Nat Sciver-Brunt's going to play as a batter only. I guess inevitable that they'd bring the captain back in, regardless of whether she could, just stand on one leg at cover. But do you think how much will England miss her bowling?
Yes, that's steadying ship, isn't she? She has bowled well. She's a true all rounder. Arguably when I talk about power, her batting, that she's some of the shots she can play off spin to sit back and really hard hit for four, which not many other women cricketers in the game can do. So naturally, yes, but I think England have sort of probably realised for a while that she's not going to do that, and that's maybe why they've selected TCC, Tilly Corteen
Yeah.
Coleman, as that extra bowler, and they're sort of really working out their bowling. So I suspect they've known that the Nat Sciver-Brunt won't be bowling for a while, which is why we've seen what we've seen in these recent matches.
Yeah, and that's probably why you've had Izzy Wong, Lauren Filer, Kemp, and Danny Gibson bowling so many overs, and with the two all rounders and stuff, because then they've known for a while that she wouldn't be fit enough to bowl. It's gonna be a good tournament. Starts, as I say, Friday, June the 12th. I'm gonna give you Group A now, and I want you to pick the first and the second, and we'll do the same for Group B. Okay. So Group A:
Yeah.
Australia, Bangladesh, India, Netherlands, Pakistan, South Africa. Who is one? Who is two in that group?
Australia, India.
Australia, India. I'm going. There's going to be see. I think there's going to be a. We'll come. I'll come back. No, let's do mine. I don't think India are going to get through the group. Right. I think it's
Don't
going
you?
to be. I think Australia, South Africa. I think India. I think Australia all round good side. I think South Africa are always one of these teams that people underestimate. And I think they'll beat India when they match up, and I think they'll go through. So that's that one. So you can see all the cry more messages kind of coming in when I post that on social media, and all the abuse we're going to get. But I think Australia, South Africa from Group A in that order. Group B is England, Ireland, New Zealand, Scotland, Sri Lanka, and the West Indies. Who's going to do what in that group?
England, New Zealand.
Yeah, I think England are going to win the group. New Zealand, you never know with the West Indies and Sri Lanka, do you? What's going to happen? Obviously, the West Indies knocked England out in the last T20 World Cup, but they're very hit and miss. I think
I
you're
think
right.
England are a better side than they
Think
were a year ago.
yeah, and I think that's what I would go with as well. So England, New Zealand. So that means Australia will play New Zealand in the first semi-final on the 30th of June. And the second semi will be England versus South Africa on the 2nd of July. So let's go with that one. So Australia, New Zealand, who wins that?
I'd take that if I was England. Well, it's a bit hard to predict 3 weeks away because we haven't had the chance to see how. And I'm a big believer that T20 cricket has a momentum to it, has you find your method of playing. It has a bit of a rhythm, and the sides that work that rhythm out. And so that's what you'll see over these early
Yeah, as
matches.
tournament, tournament
I don't,
teams. Hmm.
yeah, and especially with that, so players will understand stuff, and so yeah, who to I know you want me to give one. Who was that? Who was it? Australia were
You've got
playing New Zealand.
So for you, no, actually for both of us, Australia versus New Zealand. That's the one we both agree on.
Yeah, I think with New Zealand's recent player retirements, missing some key players, I think Australia will be too strong there.
So Australia in the final, we both agree with that. Then your semi-final is England versus India. Who do you think is going to win that?
I like that. I think England would quite like that as well, to be honest. So yeah, well, I've got to say England, don't I? So yeah,
Yes, you've got an
Australia
Australia
England
England.
final.
Yeah, and I've gone for England to play South Africa in that semi, and I think South Africa will win that. So I'm going for an Australia South Africa final. So there you have it. You see, not England. Yeah, I think South Africa will be too powerful for England. In that if that how it matches up, and then eventual winner for you, Australia or England?
The heart's got to say the home. How amazing would it be for the English girls to win the World Cup on their home soil?
Have
The
England have never lost, have they? England have never lost the ICC tournament when it's been held here. I think that's right.
oh,
Not sure.
is this one of your stats that
It could well be. I
has
just
been
made it up.
plucked from under your
2017.
hat?
If you
Yeah.
think England, so England have only not been in that many finals. So 2017 women's one, they won it here when Annie Shrubshaw got those wickets. 19, that was the World Cup, wasn't it? The Super Over one, was that 19? Something like that. So
Yeah,
England won
I
that, and I
believe you.
don't think there's been any other finals here, because all of the other World Cup finals, England weren't in the final of. So I don't think it's that many.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Hmm.
There you go. There's even more. Definitely the heart says it, and for those girls, the women, I would love for them to win the World Cup on their home soil and have everything that goes with it, all the celebrations and all the recognition, and especially so if that means them beating Australia to do so.
Yeah.
Um, but the head sort of then leads towards how good Australia are and how what sort of the amount of dominance that Australia have had over England cricket, women's cricket in the last number of years in Ashes series and multi formats in Ashes series that makes the
Yeah.
points up. Australia have absolutely dominated that. So heart with England, head probably leaning a bit towards the Aussies.
Yeah, see, I'm the same, but South Africa. So I, I think South Africa, I'd love to see them win, an ICC event. I know they've won the World Test Championship, but a whiteboard event. They got bringing back Ismail. They got Mariana Katz, also quick. Laura Volva obviously gets runs at the top. I'm not sure what the rest of it's like. I'd love to see them win, but the Aussies are so dominant, and that the 11 they'll put out will be so good, and they've got a decent squad as well. So I think I'm pretty much the same. Heart says South Africa, my head says Australia. It's going to be a good tournament, Jonesy, nonetheless.